when they have bingo. And to start things off, the man who's running away from us now, the man in the Hawaiian shirt, handing out poetry, to give us the big send-off, Thom, the world poet, and on guitar, Scott Vanya.
I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. It's a really wonderful treasure. It sure beats the tables and chairs, haven't got a leg to stand upon. But I want to start with the weather, because the weather has been really, up till today. Today is heaven, right? Sunshine, it ain't gonna last. So here we go, palms out. Anyone out there got allergies? Down the back there, sneezing, coughing, wheezing, anyone? Hello? No, if anyone got allergies? No. That you're lucky. You're very lucky. Everyone else has. So this is for them, not for you. Coughs and colds and flu diseases. Everyone in Austin has allergies. Blame it on the cedar trees. Pollen comes from junipers. Every year the same diseases. Watch them coughing, watch them sneezing. Even when they chop all treason to make this village a cemetery for a living green and vital beings. Elders with Dutch elm disease. Always happens when we freeze. Winter, December to January. When will we be reasonable? Admit that this is seasonal. Mercury in our flu shots, fluoride in our water supply. Stay alive, heat's on, indoor, tonight. Welcome to spring. Yeah, it's an exciting time, that's true. By now, you've all adjusted. False spring, mutable weather patterns. Yes, still these certainties, daylight and dusk. Cold rain and buds that rise towards its hidden sun. Seed crops that want to rise in green votes. City deserts bursting with weeds that want only to be green, gold and glorious gardens. Flowers spring, surprised from unexpected angles by the sides of roads and houses. Tell me, how comes this? We thought cold polar vortex had frozen us. Now we burst sunshine, bright and brilliant. We are as nature is, anarchist. Soon heat and green and buds and blossoms will return. Soon light and warmth and sunshine will come back. Meanwhile, we can watch the passing of light, shade, cloud and shadow and wait for seasons to repeat like that. They say tomorrow's going to be cold, okay? Now, you remember the last storm we had in cold Austin? The tyranny of blue skies tonight. We never remember clouds, how they voted for rain in overwhelming teardrops. You never know until you've lost. The cost of forgetting is remorse, how we love the drama of emotions. Lightning moods, thunderous responses, King Lear as blind as Gloucester. But sedate someone with sunshine? Ooh la la, Shangri-La. Beaches, slap of waves, hypnotized forgetfulness. Sleep through this wakefulness, J. Edgar. Rip Van Man sings music to his hits. Every raindrop's another wish. Change comes in a sealed envelope. Who will be our sunny winner today? After the storm, you will forget the storm. After the storm, you will forget. Until the next storm comes along. Severity alarms and awakens you to the flooding fact you have no power over elements. Whip tides, they rise in rebellion, smash shorelines into oblivion, lay down railways on Roman roads bent and broken. War envies such devastation. Whole nations shivering, elders in isolation, children without education. Now you remember Keats. Seasons of mists and mellow fruitfulness. Storm-tossed crops and empty sandwiches. In your lifetime, small comparisons. Snowflakes, snowstorms. Winds that gust cyclonic powers, tempests and typhoons, cynics, pessimists and apocalyptic regionalists agree when it comes to treatment of this earth and nature we lack honesty. Frackers, beware, earthquakes and hurricanes. Water is conscious, is watching, will expel and expunge all plastics. She was here long before us, will mutate long after we are gone. Listen to her wild winds and waving songs. 'Cause I love these days and nights that we are in. It's been 19 years since the full moon and St. Valentine's Day were united. Now that frisky couple are reunited for more celebratory powers. And the streets of Austin are littered with hearts and flower sellers. Each day, weather is a dervish whirlwind, almanacs and seasons fail prediction, geoengineering, nanoparticulates, simultaneous drought, storm, snow and flooding. This makes every moment precious, every dream a script. Empires are big and huge, fail spectacular to be trusted. CIA rendition murders, tortures, NSA, mega universal surveillance, FBI malfeasance, TSA corruption, assaults. Meanwhile, jails filled with non-violent marijuana users now legalized. Brian Wilson sings, "I was not made for these times." But we are, and are genetically being modified to incorporate matrix computers and robotics. In 2014, we're more than 1914 or 1984. We will mutate into more. I just walked out and saw this low-slung golden sun, small and silent upon a winking Tuesday afternoon horizon. We were made for these times, and I enjoy each shining, unpredictable moment. I went to the emotional supermarket. You ever been to the emotional supermarket? That's exactly right. I'm very happy on Wednesdays when it's double coupon day at the market. I said, "Could I have a bag of mixed metaphors, please? Something about the economy, stupid, and the buck stop here. A little light shed under my huge utility bills, notice due. Some sadness about unaccountable black budgets and a slight rueful smile over whistleblowers and a light brigade. Flash mob me messages about feminine and ad busters. Track all calls from the NSA to make sure they're genuine patriots. Invest in optimism, energy stocks and volunteerism. Get out to open mics like this one tonight before they all become Starbucks. If it's where you put your energies that count. You are all investors in the body, non-corporate, non-corps. You will walk, you will drink, you will listen, you will talk, you will witness, you will create, you will share. Your personal stocks are rising like green grass in Austin's spring sunshine. You profit most by participation, peace, and our time. And I say, when Atlanta snowed, traffic did not flow. Crashes, smashes, closures of airports. A disaster of domestic proportions. When Austin recovered from her 3-day winter, sun returned like this afternoon as if it had always been here. Now we have post-full moon glow, Valentines with gentle hearts and moons, and little Austin's gridlock can prepare for South by Southwest Festival Spring. Weather is so geo-specific. Even if predictions are world-based, it's our little villages like South Austin will save us. When waves of wild windy weathers turn around and go the other way. We're all folk. In the University of Grass, we're all graduates. Spinifex, crabgrass, St. Augustine, tame, wild, feral, every blade of grass, an independent republic. To a lawnmower, such differences are moot. Decapitation post-revolution's commonplace. But every blade of grass has truth. Different, but similar in this. We are all folk. In our differences and similarities, in our songs and our harmonies, in the very DNA of our being, Doris Lessing affirmed the grass is singing. Walt Whitman affirmed leaves of grass. Every poet, troubadour, minstrel, storyteller, griot, bard shares guitars. Folk is a culture of ordinary people, taken from them and given back. Freedom song, slave song, protest song, poems, petitions, and who else to represent us best but green men and women. We are the people, we the people of the United States, carry the spirit, we carry the spirit of every folk singer, especially Pete Seeger. Pete Seeger, we love Pete Seeger. I did do one more, has anyone done spring cleaning yet? I started today. I started shifting 40 boxes of poetry. I didn't know where to put them, so I brought them here tonight. They're on the table there. Help yourself. I got plenty. It's true. Poetry is all poetry. Here we go. I am talking to you from amongst shelves of endless costumes, boxes of endless poems, sacks of endless photographs, newspapers, magazines under which is a carpet I haven't seen for 2 decades. Spring returns to Austin, but gravity wins again. Every time I turn to the wilds of possessions, they sing like sirens, "You need me, Thom, you need me." And sometimes I feel I do, even when we broke up long ago. And I determined to live an object-free existence. Well, these objects are free to do as they will. They spill out of containers, fall in piles, fill up every inch of my bathysphere. My pod overfloweth. I can delay no longer. One of us has to go, so I delay further. Write a poem about mess and how hard it is. Don't go listening to this stuff. You're not supposed to listen to it. That's right. It's like a plane where we go. Write a poem about mess and how hard it is to release, and watch as all my walls come closer. Claustrophobia is no excuse. Memories, dreams, stories, friends, ghosts, shadows, evidence of a living past. Well, I guess they are my comfort in a confusing age. They reassure me that things were simpler once. Film photographs, mimeographs, actual videos, and another day passes. I sit and I sift and I swallow tears at all the past. I so much want to release, but I feel that life is now too fast.
And now, speaking for himself, Scott Vanya, he plays guitar, he makes up wonderful philosophical poetry while he's playing the guitar.
Yes.
Fantastic. Scott Vanya.
Yeah.
First, I'm all glad y'all are here. Those I know and those I have yet to know. I don't know what actually brought you to this spot, but I'm glad we have the time to share it together now. So hopefully we'll persuade your ears to stay, maybe. See if I can get my fingers right. Spent the better part of the last 2 weeks or so caring for my children. I'm from a divorced family, and my wife took ill. So I took care of my kids and loved every minute of it. Threw myself entirely into it, as I think people should when they're with their children. And all the while, in the back of my mind is, there will be a place to go where I'll let my proverbial hair hang out and my fingers will tickle a couple of strings, and I'll get to sit in an audience and listen to people motivated to say what's on their mind and what's in their heart. It doesn't need to be loud or vulgar to be poetic. It just needs to be honest. Where have you been? What streets have you walked down? Were they like mine? Were they riddled with things that tried my patience or yours? Were they filled with things of immutable joy, like a daughter sitting on your knee outside as the rain came down? Remember the rain? Seems an eternity ago, but it was just 2, I think. We don't know where we're going to be in a half hour. We don't even know what song will be going through our mind. But in the center is a hometown filled with so much love. And people are called open mics and cafes and bars and things. Not to drink coffee or eat Mexican food, but to feel the companionship of like souls and minds. I'll be glad to be here so many times tonight, and I'll write things down and I'll say things that will make up my mind for me about what I'm supposed to do. Burrito, taco, margarita. Somewhere along the line I'll have some bite of a poem or an idea or a face that'll make it all make sense. As I said before, I'm glad you're here. Thanks.
Scott Vanya, never lost for words. Well, my name is Louise Richardson. I'm the MC of this shindig every Tuesday night, except for the first Tuesday night of every month.
Bingo.
Or when we have bad weather. We were rained out last time. So, it's springtime, so this is my latest poem about springtime. Springing. As my mother says, the trees are a treein', the birds are a birdin', and the bees are a beein'. I saw blossoms in January, but I said to the trees, I hope you guys know what you're doing. They pulled back their buds through icy days and nights, and now they're back at it. It's about time, you know. It's March already. It's Austin, Texas, for God's sake. Spring is finally springing. Things are springing all around and greening. So now I say to the trees, make like yourselves and leave. And you know, they do. Thank you. I substituted February for March there. The plan. I have the concept now. I comprehend the logistics. Once I devise a strategy, a plan can be formulated. The task is laid out before me. I can visualize the precise procedure. I can outline each phase step by step and marshal my resources to the job. Nothing can stop me now. All that remains is to get started. I will clean my house soon. Thank you. Spring cleaning. Last time I did spring cleaning, it took me 8 months. So, wish me luck. Well, it wasn't long ago when we had some cold weather, and we may have some again yet. This one's called Patches. Shadows and patches sway on the frosted window pane. An abstract play of swatches projected through moonlight. Translucent chill incarnate drifts across a membrane of flickering twigs and leaves breathed on cold glass. Sepia puppet silhouettes gambol over the icy film, the partition hoarding warmth against the elements, while I, snug inside my bundle of comfy bedclothes, view the wintry panoply insulated from that harsh world. Thank you, thank you. And I'm still looking forward to the spring, which seems to be here, at least it's here today. The meadow. A new meadow forms in my backyard, splotched by sunlight through big elm and pecan. Tiny leaf plants, not quite grass and clover, blanket the shady downslope in an autumn finally come to the gentle city of the violet crown. A feral kitten of splotches black and white, half-grown catten interloping the territory of the family Cappuccino, my cat's 3, ignoring the wild child, cute feline invader, not yet deemed by them a tangible threat. Drought had killed the nicely shaded lawn. Just 3 years and 3 droughts back, the yard had survived the long-time weather and neglect. Thrice iterations of weedy ground cover reigned, each one holding its own motley and homely regime. The meadow exists for now, in the bright Texas fall, until replacement by the winter grass of December. Next spring, a renewed meadow will display new flora. Whatever comes, I know it will take me by surprise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did the third cat come back? Did the third cat come back?
The third cat never came back. He disappeared in October when it rained so much, and I don't know what happened. Maybe he was, you know how sometimes cats go in the gutter looking for mice, and who knows. I still got his brother and his mother with me, though. Last year there was a poetry reading at Recycled Reads, where, yes indeed, where I now MC once a month. Yes, I do. The first Sunday of every month. And Recycled Reads is the Austin Public Library resale bookstore, and you can get some great books there cheaply. They've got Wi-Fi. You can sit there with your laptop and check your email and type all day. It's a wonderful place. But before I started emceeing there every month, there was an international poetry event, and there was a little girl there about 8 years old, and her poetry was so sophisticated. You know, I'm sure I couldn't have written, I know I didn't write that well at her age, because when I was 12, or 11 or 12, Alaska became a state, and I wrote this poem. All hail to Alaska, state number 49. Though some folks still say Texas is mighty fine. If all the ice in Alaska should quickly melt away, it wouldn't be half as big as Texas is today. Thank you. I got a little bit better. When I was in high school, I wrote this remembering back when I was about 2 years old. The back porch. Impressions of early childhood. Prone on the porch, I watched as my mother hung clothes against the sky. Feeling the cool slab caressing my bare stomach, chest, and chin, I faced a scampering pill bug eye to eye, then took him up in a ball to the popsicle wrapper with his friends. Now on my back, hanging my head over the smooth porch's rough edge, and looking straight skyward, miles above the drooping banana plant leaf, I was peering down from a concrete ledge, observing some cotton puff ships circumnavigating a cirrus cloud reef. Turning on my side, propping my jaw and my hand with my elbow, catching a quick shadow which turned into a great brown grackle, I saw the bird swoop to the cottonwood below. Its cement mixer voice drawled on its way from the telephone line with a crackle. Pondering the world, all was cool cement, swift breeze, and sunlight. In the late morning, everything was what the senses felt and saw and heard. From the shaded back porch, all appeared to be bright in that innocent age of no time and no deed and no word. Thank you. I think it's time now. He comes from the land down under. Thom, the world poet, who invented a new kind of cola drink made from eucalyptus leaves. Is called Coca-Cola. Thom, the world poet.
How much can a koala bear? Okay. We live in a desert of cities, where our totems of pigeon and sparrow, displaced by blue jay and grackle, peck at the stones on our ground. Our wings have carbon emissions, our stars are spy satellites, our heavens crisscrossed by aircraft, our roads kiss in eternal gridlock. I read the white plastic sack stuck in trees, emergency lights, ambulance, EMS, APD. Signs and symbols are everywhere, yet the homeless only knew how to read. Love poem for South Austin. South is another language, son. Baptist, evangelical, pagan, and Methodist. Slow and sunny with a wry sense of humor. Stories pre-Civil War with history to match. Think cotton to oil, train to toll road. Think grits, cornbread, beans, briskets, rice. Think hellfire Jesus, think gun, think shooting and hunting. Think quilting, sewing, forecast. Think poverty and cornrows. Why think? South awaits you when you slip below that Mason-Dixon line. Enjoy the past mixed with the present tense. Cultural displacement in South Austin. When I first came here, son, silence, slowness, springs, trees. Tell me, did I bring this traffic here with me? These high-rise towers, the dwarf teepees? Am I my car with a solo occupant? Is bulldozing development? Ghosts and shadows, indigenous illegals hide from force, yet force is applied when they are caught. They disappear, becoming stories and folk songs. Same is happening to our dispossession. We have no numbers for a peace demonstration. We have no placards to protest this change. We are aware this has happened before. In our skin it's happening again. We own nothing save the breath within our lungs. Soon they will claim eminent domain, seek repossession with a gun. Who else around here wants to be Ronald McDonald? No one else? Then I guess it must be me. The flip-flop clown suit, sitting on a park bench, smiling like a rainbow, beaming after school. Kids understand me, in fact they want to be me. But none of them have the bravery, so they wear their uniform. Best they can be is managers. Yet look at their corporate icon. They're being led by a life-size clown. So if you need reality, remember all fantasy, we'll have to make do until a better one comes around. Love poem to South Austin, number 42. From weird to Awesmic. Once upon a tie-dye, everybody wanted to be in South Austin, a slacker or musician. As they grew older, grayer, their colors changed, revolutionary red, sometimes campaign pink, black anarchy to black and white independent filmmaking. Austin now spells gridlock, valet parking, condominiums, public facilities for private profit, festivals ad infinitum, creative culture morphed into consumerism, with only small independent individuals to make anew. And here comes you. To be as mobile as an app, young digitals use Uber, Zipcar, Lyft. They do not feel the need to own, just use as freemium or lease. Merging and morphing of market shares takes iTunes to Spotify. Software, hardware, food and fashion, one rental at a time. Think Redblock, Netflix over Blockbuster. Think Google Games as a subscriber-based system. Paying for a phone on a non-track monthly system. Relating need to supply on a per-use item. Think lay-by. Adapt to instant gratification. Have your groceries delivered or your laundry done or services provided on a per-item basis. Depth of 1,000 cuts or a way of adapting for a 4-use app world will change as fast as depreciation of ownership contracts. Young no, rent and return find ways of gaining free apps to navigate virtual world as if it ever were real. I sleep through most things, especially long poems. So here's a long poem for you to sleep through. It's like a little lullaby. It's called Uses for Insomnia. Okay. You can. You can do that. No, that was my second poem. That was so quick, wasn't it? You didn't realise that was like a half a haiku. It was a half. When all the world is sleeping, and there is only now, your eyes go cat bright. Your light rise up, get alert, you don't know why or how. Silence is suspension in both space and time. Being awake after midnight uses different parts of your mind. You prowl all silent spaces, you think most private thoughts. I do believe in another world, you are beyond sold or bought. Here is where you can entertain fantasies that do not fit by slow sunlight. Now you have the gift of time to perambulate your only mind, take it for a spacewalk, or walking on the moon. If the weather is too chill, bundle up in blankets in your room. Gloom dissipates like fog when you are moving in tune. With all the dreams that now are real, for you to become a dream too. This is what you do. Stay awake until sleep is just a distant memory. That is how you find and keep and forget your most brilliant poetry. Works for me. My morning starts at night. I steal from the moon. Light, reflection, dreams, memories, reminders, thoughts, feelings, images, random they appear till dragooned into little lines, staying to attention to command yours. Every dream is different. Oceans of unwritten thought bubbles float away carelessly rich. Trickles of silver inspirations drip uncaring, unseen, unedited emotions range outside the frame of this cage of a page. Very few cats can be trained. Like ant circuses, it takes vision to see them. One or two will escape Earth's prosaic atmosphere to dwell in deeper silences. Here I visit you as a pilgrim. to solicit a random wisdom. If I am lucky, they will listen. The jury of my peers is a harsh judge and a hanging jury. I dare not fool with them. Some take this very seriously indeed. With what time I can beg, I borrow from tomorrow. Catch glimpses of antique clocks, darling melting fob watches, little digital clicks, baby chick yellow light inspiration, and a zoo of biodegradable curiosities. All this is a hit and myth affair, like my daily autobiography, chapter 2. If you were born, anyone here born?
Yeah.
After 1976? No, okay. Okay, this is no one for here. This is someone out there. If you were born after 1976, you were the first digital children. You were weaned on TV, Coca-Cola, Disney, McDonald's, and mass media. You were ripe for computers, as your addiction started with television. You believed in a power greater than you. Network entertainment ratings.
I think you turned them off, Louise. Oh, you did?
I didn't turn it off.
You devoted time, energy, attention to watching more than doing. You became familiar with syndicated news, current affairs, crime and dramas. You transferred your affections. But like TV, technology went from tube to printed circuit. Your eyes have been prepared by ritual continuous consumption. Your critical facilities diluted by soap operas. You knew about remote control, UFOs and aliens. One of you actually watched Network. Few of you enjoyed it. Satire is not your forte. Prophecy is for Sunday viewing. But you understand retro, you understand replay, you know ratings, the 3 R's of digital entertainment. Logically then, Comcast can swallow Time Warner, CNN can seek more reality shows rather than news, Fox focus on personal commentators and content, and Howard Beale and Patrick Chayefsky can certainly be forgotten. That's all right.
Turn it up. She told me to turn it down.
Oh, I'm sorry, Louise.
For an engineer. Any engineers out there? Yes, sir. Yeah, good man. Engineers, we love engineers. They're very, very good. Nice people.
Interrupt the show.
You can always talk to an engineer. For an engineer, life is a code in the node. For a doctor, patience. For a sculptor, materials and inspiration. Same as for an artist. For a parent, children. For children, life itself. For friends, having and keeping. For cynics, proof. Always this quest for significance, this alchemy of unfulfilled desires. Nothing ever happens the same way twice. This is the lie of calendars. Someone's always in love with drama, another in love with heat. One loves solitude, another the streets. When we get there, it looks the same as here, but you still need to travel to relearn and confirm this was a dream. Thank you too.
All right. This may sound strange, but I'm doing this for editing purposes.
Okay.
Oh, Scott, don't go away.
That's okay.
Welcome to Maria's Taco Express.
Yeah.
And now again, Thom, the world poet. Yay! That was great, Thom. Thank you. And now, once again, Scott Vanya.
Yay, Scott Vanya.
It'll all make sense in editing later.
Sure. You have to watch it online. It's on TV. The TV, I forgot. Yeah, she's TV.
Oh, it's actually
Oh, too. Since we're being a little bit seasonal, and as the show, if you get to stay long enough, you'll see that the shows always start out sort of time-oriented, and as the night moves on and more people show up and more people perform, we begin to get into sort of a non-time oriented space, but while we're talking about the seasons, these are the days where children let their hair out. They go running, and they have truly forgotten what winter was. Not quite so easy for adults. They still remember scraping the ice off the windshield and the days off of school where they had to stay home and take care of their kids. Won't be long and the hacky sack crowd will be out, and the frisbee players and the barbecues will get lit. And we'll wonder how far away summer is. What's that mean, 10 days?
99.
Oh, 99. In the meantime, we'll sit back and pretend like this spring day when the sky is so brilliantly blue and the sun so beautifully yellow. Makes you want to remember what it was like to run through a field of bluebonnets or Anyah paintbrushes. Pretty soon that freeway over on Mopac will be covered in them. Women will be taking out their shears and clipping their rose bushes, and men too. The tents will get packed up and taken out and cleaned and then packed up again. It's enough to forget that we ever worked to begin with. Makes you want to walk down the street with your hands in your pocket and hum some sort of tune about what it's like to be free and easy, apart from all the distractions of iPhone, your telephone. I haven't had a phone in a month and a half, and yet something still calls to me. It calls me to say the things that are in my heart and in my mind. It calls me to say that the world could be such an easy place if we just get it out of our mind that the differences between us are wrong. It's the difference between us that makes us most the same. In a time like Austin, you remember that weird is a good thing. I keep telling my kids that. The son will say to my daughter, "You're weird," and I tell her, "Be proud of that. That's a cool thing in Austin. It's good to be different. It makes you know who you are and what you mean." On a day like this, it means being free of worries and stress. Not worrying about if the guitar string buzzes or if your order's late or how much to tip your waiter. It means getting in touch with that ground beneath your feet. Forget that only a month ago it was frozen and cold. We are more the same when we are more different. Does anybody really know what it means that I am you and you are me? We've seen it through the ages, the McCartneys and the Lennons and the Marleys and the Nerudas. It's a song we all want to sing, we want to hum under our breath. It's a song we want our lover to hum to us as we drift off to sleep. We are more the same and we are more different. Thanks for listening.
Thanks again, Scott. Let me fix the camera here. And I'll turn down the volume a little bit. Just a little.
Yeah.
I want to keep them happy here at Marie's. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can't really hear back here as well as you can.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. All right. Professional television here.
Okay. That's what we want.
Here's Louise.
Here's Louise. All right. Austin Pulse. Ponytails swing down the hike and bike. Dogtails wag from tethered pups. Guitars twang from shaded coves. All things beat to an Austin pulse. Even now, despite traffic snarls, in spite of rampant growth, notwithstanding villains of change, the old Waterloo soul remains in the city of the violet crown. I have tagged along for life half the 20th and more. I have seen much come and go, but the heartbeat of the town, I still feel, still detect, still hold. Thank you. You know, the world today, all kinds of things are happening that, cause alarm. Egypt and Syria and Ukraine. The Russians have invaded Crimea, and Russian soldiers have just crossed the Crimea River. Crimea River, Crimea River, I cried a river over you. Well, now you say you're lonely, and you're sorry for being so untrue. Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river, I cried a river over you. You drove me, nearly drove me out of my head, while you barely shed a tear. Remember, I remember all that you said that you were through with me, and said that love was too plebeian. Really plebeian? Now you say you're sorry, oh, just to prove it's true. Come on and cry me a river, cry me a river, I cried a river over you. I cried a river over you. Thank you. And now back to poetry. Deep time. I have come to know deep time, not the deep time of natural history, but the deep time of my own history. 20 years is a long look back. 40 goes back twice as far. 60 is just too much to imagine. I was there though, I was here. I have been here all this time. More than 2 years after World War II. More than half the 20th century. Harry S. Truman, Dwight David Eisenhower, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Richard Milhouse Nixon, Gerald R. Ford, James Earl Carter, Ronald Reagan, George Herbert Walker Bush, William Jefferson Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Hussein Obama. That's how long I've been here. I keep on going so far to the future. There is still time. There is still hope. Come on, Hillary. Thank you. Not that I've given up on the current president. Always looking for the future. Well, last fall I was at Central Market outdoors on a day not unlike this one, nice and sunny, and they had a little jazz and blues combo out there, and these children were dancing to this music that I know that they weren't familiar with, but they knew what to do. They got out there and danced, and that inspired this poem, Jazz Children. Jazz children dancing to an outdoor band invent their own steps to music they don't know, but the primordial beat drums loudly within them each and possesses their tiny frames with unbridled joy. The combo, electric guitar, bass, viol, and drums, is playing
number two.
Is playing number 2 in a style heard at my birth in 1947. Blues and jazz circa post-World War II moves these babes of 6 and 7 and 8. One little girl holds back, not sure how to go. She knows there's a proper way to dance this, but the others did not read the manual, each swaying and rocking to a different metronome. They will figure it out in the breath of time, and not have half the fun and half the art of their bopping junior selves, just feeling the beat from an outdoor cover band a century from the music's birth. Thank you. Well, he's shaking away there.
I'm shaking.
Sir Thomas Woodruff, Thom, the world poet.
Yes, Will Scott. Gone, but not forgot. Your attention, please. Rare as a Texas steak. Found as a purse in the Walmart parking lot. Empty as a house, vacated for holidays. Swept away the way you turn as if something significant to say. Silence. Discretion catches your fork knife tongue. Bitterness passes temporary as parking permits. You pay Cerberus the valet charges. Proceed to your designated spot. Try to recall why and wherefore you must dance tonight. All you want is peace and dreams. All they want is what they need. They've got to Walmart, wonderful cheap gas, nothing else. Here's a shopping list whenever you go shopping. Monday is not a painted lady, Tuesday is not a clothes horse, Wednesday is not an Indian casino, Thursday is not a thunderstorm. Friday is not an office buffet, Saturday sleeps in, of course, Sunday's church choir exalts all to begin again, but Monday is not predictable. Tuesday might mean job loss grief. Wednesday is a carnival, Thursday is just a gypsy ring. Friday is irrelevant, Saturday a Learjet. Sunday is just another sermon, long, boring and tendentious. Leaving Monday as a watermelon, Tuesday a banana, Wednesday as fruit salad, Thursday as alfalfa. I just always think it's fruit and vegetables. Thank you very, very much. It's really good that you're there. We are human. We make mistakes. Sometimes we oscillate between hubris and victimhood. Sometimes the executioner, sometimes the chopped royal head. Sometimes Sri Lanka, number 7. Sometimes Cambodia, sometimes number 2. Sometimes Kampuchea. Sometimes Burma, sometimes Myanmar. Dipped in languages, lost in translation, we gain forgiveness only when we give it. Inexhaustible gift, bottomless well, deep spring. Water forgives us when we use and abuse. Drought to flood like tsunami tide, seasons of love. Action means more than a name. Forgiveness releases all blame. How to vote? I say vote early, vote often. Friends are working at the Travis County voting polls, where the simple machines, click, 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 await our simple choices. I go to my local HEB with my how-to information and vote for democracy in this Texas nation. My choice is one raindrop in a drought desert. Others will choose guns, God, and cut the guts out of public services. They will vote to give our taxes away to corporations. They will say this is fiscal austerity, yet black budgets are never mentioned today. So I will stand with my driver's license in hand. Oh yes, voter ID means some will lose their vote, you see. On the steps of a minority nation, I watch street gatherings on television. See third world purple ink fingers defeat all apathy. Note the ennui of those already defeated and vote one more teardrop into the sweet Texas desert. Wow, thank you very much, thank you very much. Hey. Staycations Anonymous. Because the weather outside was snow thundering, prospects of sharknadoes, gator canes, and scorpion armies. Fear is afraid of its own shadow. Groundhog Day was cancelled. Terror alert. Fear was seen entering your home. You need insecurity systems to keep the police, burglars, addicts, alcoholics, thieves, politicians, salesmen away. So you can deal with your own personal Jesus and Johnny Cash replays. Inside you, bundles of light energy, baskets of smiles, art unlimited. In your garden, birds are blooming, blossoming on branches. Paradise is an amusement park within, free admission. You skate all day, dream all night, go walking in wonderlands, forests, woodlands, wilderness, for various vagrant perambulations. Tell me, which is the better dream? Oh, citizen tsunami, feed that wolf. She said, where's my voice? Where's my voice? I said, well, have you used it recently? You see, this is a correspondence. It's a dialogue. There is love between the grass and the lawnmower, cloud and the flood, earth and feet. Take your clouds off. Walk your sky. The voice you used had echoes. They're waiting for you. In others' canyons, lake eyes, rust car in waters, when salvaged it ran, only after being restored to proper function. And you have a reason to be a sky. Sing, laugh, walk, dance. You already know why. You are ever renewable energy. Every breath sustains you. Each pulse beat of blood, each heart song, each link to all elementals, air, water, stone, wood, fire, earth, they're circulating around, inside, beside you. All as dynamic as tides. Change irregular as volunteers, this little orchestra ocean, this island of harmonies and melodies. Music to your ears, art to your eyes, bright galleries. Each step you take tonight a dance. Every choice a song. Cycles round one nuclear sun, each pole reversing, sending warm fire universing to you, translating these into sounds and syllables for each of us. Wish only peace, love, continuance to every singular collective part of all of us. Song and chorus, aha, yes. This is my suit of skin. I wear this out, layers about, as when frozen, chill, cool. When I sleep, it's sky-clad. When awakened, wear habits like monks in monasteries. Change daily, lead with a suit to hand and eye, a way of linking to get through labyrinth, serpentine water, to seek through soil, absorb. States change with borders crossed, very end, trade this lizard skin in. I've been dreaming, Rip Van Winkling, taking eyes, tear up with sentimental attachments. Spirit unique in every fibre of your being, we cannot swap souls, not even cards in the hand of the living. Just being. Heart pumps blood, circulating village rumours out to limbs, and when you're out on a limb, you may as well fly. A friend of mine goes into the bush and he makes sculptures out of things. And I said to him, why you do that? Aren't things perfect as they are? And he said, I walk into the bush until I see a shape or form suggesting some form of humanity. Weave from fronds or limbs some apparition of form, display so we can forget my original inspiration. She collects feathers, stones, flotsam, jetsam, birds, beaches, tracks, trails, weaves them into homemade, handmade paper books. Even waves grind down sharp, jagged, broken glass people till they're smooth as ice, dumps them casual jewelry along literal shorelines. A tree runs rings around time, and it's telling, seasonal, stretches limbs and boughs until birds can trust enough to deposit branches. We all start with original form, from which some exegesis from original texts make Gitas, Zen koans, Bibles, Quran. Our beginnings are so rarely our endings. Bye, you lovely people. Thank you, sweet people. Joy. Apps and more apps. Smartphones, smart houses, smart cars, smart water, smart gas meters. Intersecting grids that may go down at any moment. Sunspots, solar flares, unpredictable weather patterns. Cars that run on water and compressed gases. Pedestrians with implants like lost dogs, Alzheimer patients. Armies of homeless sheltered in prisons. Governments cutting services, giving themselves pay rises. Secret gardens, secret seed banks, multi-species libraries. Individuals, home schools, loving art, music and harmonies. Museums of antiquities, peace, democracy, community. Animals as warnings and as warders. Indigo children reincarnating in their own lifetime. Every secret ever hidden becoming today's psychic headlines. Finally, the truth about Akashic Records, Building 7, September 11, who really killed the Kennedys, why conspiracy theories are completely unnecessary, as reported by aliens from the UFOs flying over our cities. Yes, thank you!
Welcome once again to Maria's Taco Express, Awesmic City Poetry and Music. We have a vast crowd here this evening. Almost the equal of the number of poets we have. Pretty close, actually. And I think next on the bill is one Scott Vanya.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
It's all surreal.
Yeah. I think the problem with the sound is that they have the door open, and up to now they've had it closed when we're here because of the
They
weather.
were also talking, so they probably wanted to hear themselves.
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't them. It was. I think it was Maria herself. Who
Oh,
asked me to turn it down.
Yeah, I don't think they used to. They used to never announce it.
They usually cut it off too. I guess I should.
Yeah. Say something.
How's that?
So what's a man? Question. Very quiet. No, that wasn't the end of the sentence. You do what my kids do all the time. So what's a man supposed to do with his troubles?
Yeah.
I think of the folks who used to travel the country with their bindles and their works on their back. There are those who run off into distant lands, and like my father being one of them, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
to find themselves. Or used to be you went off to find work, to send the money home to your wife and kids. What's today? These days, a man wants to run off. He turns on his computer and
Yeah.
sees what he can find to escape his own mind.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've done that. As of only yesterday. Then you hear the sound of your friends calling, or some far off roar like the waves rolling in. My personal little fantasy is I'm sitting on a beach in Jamaica, not stoned, been there, done that, but I'm weaving a net, fisherman's net, and I'm concentrating on my work, and I'm looking, nothing in particular. Had a friend tell me just today, look without instead of within. Had a friend tell me today that maybe I need to get out of the womb.
Oh.
Life is this place between the womb and the tomb, and it ain't easy to figure out. And there are those who have come along the way. Many they are. Your mother, your father, your son, your brother. You've had words to tell you way to be, or what to think, or what to believe in, or gave you some glimmer of hope. I realized last night the greatest philosophical conversations I ever have are with myself.
Wow.
Because some things you can't tell your neighbor, you can't tell your friends. They're just thoughts, idle little chit-chat. What's a man supposed to do with his troubles but let him out? And I don't mean in a big furious blow or blowout or anger. Let them out like Johnny Appleseed scattering seeds around the world. Because you know, they're not just yours. They're everybody's. The world must want from you to be happy.
Yep.
Once said that it was directed to a friend of mine, Jeremy, that what his kids wanted more than anything else was for him not to worry.
Yeah.
So go someplace where you can let your hair down and your song out. Goes sort of like this. I've been so far gone into the nothingness of it. What I found there was a light, pure and clean and broad. I've been up to the San Gabriel and I laid there and let the water run through my hair. The hard times can be like that too if you let them. We're all just fish in a sea so wide and so vast it has no end. It's a school, you know. Not a cool, it's a school where you learn to do things the right way, I suppose. Whatever the hell that is. I just know when I am most happy, I am most thankful.
Yeah.
I think that's what grace is. I've been telling folks now for about 6 months that I'm praying for them, and all that means is I have sort of a detached, benevolent wishfulness for them. Don't know if anybody knows what that means, but then again, it ain't gonna matter.
That's true.
I just know I'm with friends and I'm happy to be so, and whether someone sees it or not, that's okay too.
Yeah.
The wind's there in the back of my mind, blowing over a chilly sea somewhere way out in the deep. And that's where I want to be. Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Hope I didn't sound too preachy through email there.
Oh, no. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody says something different. So,
Yeah.
you know, he said something too, and I sent it to y'all because I care about y'all, and I just want some people.
Yeah. I want you to, I want you to be happy. Of course, it's not an order. You don't have to be happy all the time. I hate being happy all the time myself. So. But Thom loves being happy all the time. Well, when I think of springtime, I think of getting away, seeing other scenery, and my favorite place to go is the Texas coast. But until this last week, I had not been to Galveston, where I usually go, for a couple of years. And I had planned to go to another part of the coast, Rockport, Fulton, Port Aransas, Corpus Christi area. And when I was planning to go there, I learned that my aunt had died and the funeral was in Houston. So I went to Houston. Actually, I stayed in Galveston this last weekend, and the funeral was on Saturday morning. I went in Friday, and I got to see a little bit of the coast, but not in the way that I hoped to do exactly. But it was a nice service, and they had a photo montage of her life, and it was kind of neat looking back. Oh yeah, that's what she looked like when I was growing up. And there's my Uncle James, and all my cousins when they were children. It's very sweet. and they had some nice music there. And my remaining uncle and my aunt, well, I guess in a way they're both my aunts, his first and second wives, but I knew his first wife because she's the mother of all my cousins on that side of the family. Not all my cousins, just the ones from Houston, anyway. But I do think of the coast a lot. And years ago, when I was in San Francisco is a wonderful place. But when you're homesick, no matter how wonderful the place is, you think of home or things closer to home. And when I moved from San Francisco back to Texas, the first place I went was Galveston, and I lived there about a year and a half. But this is what I was thinking when I was in San Francisco, homesick from the Texas coast. Gulf daydreams. Even now, as I walk briskly, chilled by a wall of San Francisco wind, even now the gulls skim from sun to wave on a honey-warm Texas morning. The breeze there is a kinder one. It does not press but embraces. The sun, not just a dim yellow presence, rules the sky, the shore, and the sea. The birds there, not all business like their California cousins, thrive and grow sassy on jumbo shrimp and picnic leftovers. I'll go back there before too long. I'll crinkle my toes in the warm Gulf sand. The loving wind will fly my hair at full nest. The gulls will hover to catch bits of my lunch. Then I'll say, I've come home. I've come home for the first and last time. And now a slightly dystopic poem about the coast. Seagull morning. I fly to the dawning sun. It washes the stars from the sky. Its brilliant glare blinds for a time, and brightly glitters yellow and auburn amid the tiny silver mirrors in the lapping. One moment, please. I think I cut off my head again. No, I didn't. I'll just edit that out. So, sometimes when someone has been sitting down and I set the camera for someone sitting down and I come up, there's nothing below my shoulder. I mean, above my shoulder.
Tell them why you're filming.
Huh?
Tell them why you're filming.
Oh, yes. Well, we started recording this for a show on public access television by one of our founders, Anyah DeShawn. But lately I've been experimenting with putting them up on YouTube. So our show from last month, from February 18th, is now up on YouTube in 5 bite-sized pieces, each 27 minutes apart. That's why every half hour I come out and say, hello and welcome to Maria's Taco Express. Let me start this poem over, as again, I will fix it in the editing. Seagull morning. I fly to the dawning sun. It washes the scar. Start again. Yes, it washes the scars from the sky. Seagull morning. I fly to the dawning sun. It washes the stars from the sky. Its brilliant glare blinds for a time, and brightly glitters yellow and auburn amid the tiny silver mirrors in the lapping waves of the morning Gulf. I angle left in my flight. The light blue haze claims the horizon, and the darker blue takes all of the sun, save the golden orb itself and beams which shine like spotlights down through massive blocks of white roving clouds. Now dipping down to water, I follow a school of running fantail shrimp, and deftly I catch one, dive, catch another. Then climbing sunward, I look down at leaping mullet, shooting like little rockets from crest to crest. missing an occasional cabbage head riding with the waves. Ranging to the vast mud flats, I see stilted herons and cranes and post-perched pelicans wading and pecking for little crabs and clams, and humans crawl the granite jetties with their cluttered tools and sweet bait. Some toss breadcrumbs to my swarming friends. The sea is turning black-brown. The dark green disappears in the oily wake. Unaware of danger, I dive for a small fish. My body turns greasy and sticky, useless. I drift to the sand and twist my head to preen. I gulp the dark poison and succumb to progress.
Woo!
Thank you. Kind of a twist there at the end. Sorry about that. Over twist. Well, about the time I wrote that one, that was before I went to San Francisco. And I guess I was in college at the time I wrote that one. I wrote this first environmental poem, The Lot, when I was living off campus in San Marcos in college. And I was imagining that this little vacant lot I saw was the last piece of life on Earth. It was about the time of the first Earth Day.
Yep.
There was a book called The Environmental Handbook, and supposedly the pages smelled like DDT, which was a popular poison at the time they were trying to get rid of. So I was thinking very ecologically even back in 1969. The Lot. It was the last patch of green on Earth. Just a lot it was, grown up with Johnson grass and thistles, and encircled by a ring of shade trees, post oak, cedar, and sycamore. Their leaves spotted the setting sunlight, and from inside them came myriad mockingbird cries, anticlimactically proclaiming, "This is my last domain." Sad, I thought, that this uninspired spot was the last lot left. I could reel my thoughts to lands past, bountiful velds, heroic steppes, noble tundra, rare oases of arid climes, serene northern woods, rainforests lush, all harbors of vibrant life, all magnificent, and all more worthy to remain than this weedy backyard. This refuge from a developer's plow was all that there was. All around stretched the asphalt world of concrete and gypsum and glass and steel. Barren sand covered the surrounding hills beneath the orange and gray troposphere. The black-green sludge pool sparkled with oil rainbows, and the highway net was strung from sea to vacant sea. Tomorrow would be the last of it. The ever-present bulldozers, the instruments of rape would come. The little green lot would be no more. A chalky gravel mobile home park then would take this wasted space for itself. While it lasted, the lot was the vestige of spring. But all too quickly, the impatient sun was setting. Thank you. And on that light note, a light note in his own way, Thom the World Poet.
Come on, that's gonna...
And his accomplice, Scott Vanya.
Well, you'd have to be a dragon or a dinosaur not to know that South by Southwest has occupied your space, right?
I'm a dragon and a dinosaur.
He's a dragon and a dinosaur. He's been out of it for 2 weeks, you know? But he's just back tonight, and I'm very glad his front is here too, because his sides play quite music. This is a love poem to whistleblowers, you know? Blow, whistleblowers, blow. We all need to know when our privacy is stolen by the people that we vote to govern. Malfeasance, abuse of office should place those politicians in prison. They choose to shoot the messenger at a time when we really need them. I feel safer with Edward Snowden. I feel safer with Bradley Manning. I feel safer with Julian Assange. If and when they are all free released like Pussy Riot and Femin. In our age they embed journalists. In our age no one trusts a press release. Info wars rage all around us. Universal surveillance does not reach into black budgets. Nor are drone operators held accountable for murders of civilians. We are innocent civilians. We trust journalists to share their free speech so we might enjoy the the fruits of this democracy. Well, that cleared the place, didn't it? That was really powerful stuff. Here we go. Frame of reference. In my only life, each moment is a piece. There is no extra baggy space for war nor conflict division. I devote my energies and resources for clarity of communication, to the gathering of peaceful souls and their individual manifestations. War has no place in this. Words have power, as do energies. Applied carefully, change becomes easy. I say, let our focus be 100% peace. So what we truly wish for, we can achieve. I have no energy to fight against, only happiness to add to with and for. So when I hear your songs, art and poems, I hear an antidote to war. I'm thinking of a holiday. I think I'll go for a holiday in Ukraine. Crimea River. Polish up your Russian phrases. Just say dark to their niet. From your Dakar to their Black Sea. Time to dip your toes in. Cross that border with no passport. Rip insignia from uniforms. Tanks and guns for so much more fun. See about surrendering. Holiday in another country. Like ancient Iraq, Afghanistan. In 2014, invasions are easy. Just boots and guns to make the laws, man. And when you settle in, on the Caspian, remember all the history of previous invasions. Eat, talk, sit, eat, talk, talk, eat, sit, talk, talk, eat, sit. Time goes faster when you've got less of it. So we steal away from others to make more time to share tonight. So we push aside our laptops, turn off our cell phones, do not check our messages and begin. This is what it means to have a friend. Devotional time, tithe time. This menu starts with soup du jour. How are you feeling today? Move on to entree. How's your health, your emotional status? Has it succeeded yet? Main course. What's important to you now? It may be other friends, their loss, their needs, their health, those who can't be with us this evening, to chew the fat and share this food for thought. Extended metaphors, chicken scratch around the central egg of meditation. Time it's making, using, investing in friends and those who really matter enough to devote some portion of our daily allotments. Harvests of illumination sparkle afterwards. And these are your just desserts. How to silence all birds. First, you must not hear their anarchy at dawn, squabbling over worms and throwing breadcrumbs, cooing only when we are their providers in these wild cities. Next, you must not see them. No wild eagle, not even hawk in the skies where you want only drones, spy-plane satellites. You must not want nor desire their wild colors, their wild defiance, their feral cunning, their hot beauties. Do not see, feel, hear, or acknowledge them. You imitate the Michelangelo, Botticelli, Da Vinci codes. You engineered helicopters from their tiny wings, right, brothers? You stole the morning song of duck quack hunters. Beauty is not wanted in battlefields. It shows all uniform as dullness, all causes as dead obedience. Where wild birds and wild flowers and wild people gather, it's always before, and eventually it will be afterwards. This one's about forgetting. Some people say you're happier when you remember. Some people say you're happier when you're forgetting. Just imagine if you can forget this poem. Goes like this. Yeah. Okay, just pretend you can remember this poem. Happiness. Or in the department of remembering, I want to complain to the manager. My short-term memory is getting foggy and vague, while my long-term memory is sharpening and increasing. She said I need to focus more on beauty, upon images that restore harmony. But then I promptly fell asleep and dreamed myself out of existence. This earthly plane so temporary, 80 years and 10, folk leaving so fast again, no time to write the epitaph. Complaints alone do not change programs. My implicit procedural modes were intermittent and episodic. Forgetfulness made bicycle riding a budgerigar experience. My emotional intelligence became episodic. Childhood traumas resurrected as elder abuse. Young people stare long distance the way I used to stare. How can age change everything? In my mind's eye, I will always be 16. I lie. Thank you. That's very nice. Response. Whoa. Now this is a true story. We on Sunday we go to a bar called Stomping Grounds on Congress. and we have poetry there. And this guy walks in, and he was looking for Wi-Fi. It wasn't, you know how people aren't looking for poetry, but they find poetry. And they just stumble into it, they're having a meal, quiet little meal, and suddenly there's a poetry reading wrapped around them. They don't know what to do. Anyway, this is a true story. It's all true. Anyway, this guy comes in, he's got his dark glasses during daylight, and he says, looking for Wi-Fi. And they said, well, it's a poetry read. Do you do poetry? And he says, as a matter of fact, I just have a book out. And his book is called Barroom Ballads, and it's all those poems that are written on napkins. And he's been in Los Angeles. I'll let the poem tell you the story. It's all true, happened 48 hours ago, so it's an old poem. I bought this book from Half Price Books. Poems written on napkins. I loved the poem so much I gave that book away to a poet who actually wrote his poetry on napkins in Austin, in the trust that he might make a book of all his original works. Now stumbles the author into stomping grounds seeking Wi-Fi. Found a coven of poets ready to speak, he joined in and shared his life from LA to South by Southwest. Seems he was a nerd in Los Angeles and wrote, he was a nerd. He said that, he told us he was a nerd. Okay. And he wrote poems in bars with his friend, and all that curiosity brought all the women in the bar directly to him. He realized in the power of poetic attraction. He self-published that book that I'd bought and gave away and started on a second edition when in Austin today, slaving away as a taxi driver. He sold more books in cabs than bars. He is now featured at South by Southwest and Austin Writers Roulette. Who said that poetry did not pay? Actually, he did. My 10 Commandments for 2014. I believe in UFOs. I believe in chemtrails. I believe in paranoia. I believe in conspiracy theories. I believe in black budgets. I believe in cover-ups. I believe that beliefs can be manufactured by mass media. I believe in government propaganda. I believe what you want me to believe. Faith in governments? What about Waco or Ruby Ridge? And Building 7? No plane hit that. I believe all those victims are in their beliefs, hell or heaven. Just tell me what you want me to believe in. Present no evidence for your propositions. I believe we're all irrational. That is, if that's your position. I believe that.
Okay. We are few, but we are mighty. Again, Scott Vanya.
Okay, let's see where we're going. This is called an experiment, and how much you can get out of just a few chords. I may have told these two people that this story.
Yeah. See the others.
But I'll tell it to all the people that have heard it.
All the people.
You never know. When art's gonna sneak up and
Yeah.
give you a little nibble.
Yeah.
When I was in school in Chicago, over in Hyde Park, for those of you who know the city, friends of mine had a little gig that they would hold in basements of apartments. It's called Satisfaction Reaction. It was an open mic. That was 1987, I believe.
Wow.
So I would go in my all black, my leather, and my black jeans, and my black sweatshirt, and my black overcoat. I'd do that whole, I'm a poet and I don't know what the hell is going on, but I'm going to do the best I can anyway.
Yeah.
So as the case would have it, you know, we were 18, 19, 20, we'd get, we got any kids here? So, I would do the best I could to stay sober, but I would fail oftentimes.
Yeah.
So one time we were sitting around and getting ready for a show, we were talking about it. a big open room. Since we were poor, we had no furniture. And then, lo and behold, in the middle of the room was a bicycle. You know, that's normally something you like to ride on and go out to the park on. This particular occasion, as we were all sitting around, one of us started to pat on it a little bit. Tap on it, you know?
Yeah.
As you might do on a table or a napkin at an open mic. Or in an office, which used to be my particular scenario. Cut a long story short, and I'll move on to something else. You know, for the next 20 minutes or so, there were 5 or 6 of us, and we played a bicycle.
Yeah.
It was the best jam session I have ever been in.
Wow.
You never know where inspiration is going to strike you, but when it does, please write it down. Some others of us want to see it. Because, you know, it wasn't so much that the bicycle was there in the middle of the room, it's that we were connected to one another and everything else, and that's what made it so darn cool.
Yeah.
Let that be the thing that taps on you next time you pedal around town in your car, just scrolling. I'm going to do another one.
Sure. Yeah.
My hands are sort of getting tired. That's why I practice.
My fingers are bleeding.
I've said this before that I come to play, and I tell these two because I've known them a long time. I've come to play, so let me play the way I like to play. And the one tricky part is sometimes it interferes with what I say. So because my hands are doing one thing, and my head's doing another. But I heard a theme come up earlier. I'm sort of interested in. Salvador Dali's on the persistence of memory.
Yeah.
And I would have to agree with Thom when he says we've pretty much forgotten more than we're remembering. Long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, when I was 18 years old, I wrote my credo for my philosophy class. What I told that professor at the time was that the moment we feel in is only made viable by our feelings. More real, more true than our senses or our thoughts or our minds. So what do you feel? When you think about it, every film you've ever seen or every book you've ever read was really just trying to communicate a feeling. And what's the one you like most? For me, personally, it's openness. Not having anything in the way between me and you. So in that credo I once said a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Remember that line?
I remember that line.
Came from somewhere, I don't remember what right now exactly. That time is a deck of cards, and if you've ever seen a wizard or a magician who takes that deck of cards and lays them out all nice and lean on a table, picks up one side and sort of opens it, tilts it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You'll notice at the very top of those cards there's a crescent point which is called the now. And it's not so much that we're remembering or forgetting anything in particular, but how about being at the top of that deck of cards in a moment with me? Excuse me a second, the guitar's trying to tell me something. That was it.
Okay.
Christmas tree with a star on top. Same thing. I'm glad I'm Santa Claus. I'm glad my son's Santa Claus. I'm glad everyone in this room is Santa Claus, or the missus as you may have it. If you want to let yourself enjoy things in life in general, Dr. Pasadena hits the draw. I just recently connected to it. Remember that all you need to say when someone asks you how you're doing or how your day's going, and it takes some courage, I admit, because not oftentimes do we do this, is tell him or her, plain as day, as that moon is out tonight, I feel great. Not just good or okay or I don't know, but great. And say it a lot. Say it to yourself in the shower, in the bathroom, while you're brushing your teeth. Let it out, because why in the world would we not feel great? Except someone said it somewhere a long time ago and it must mean something besides what you feel. So, it's not so much that we exist in a galaxy a long time ago, far, far away, but right here, right now, is somebody dealing the cards.
Yeah, pretty good, Captain Thom. Very good.
Vanya!
Yeah.
I remind us once again, this is Awesmic City, poetry and music at Maria's Taco Express. We are here by the grace of Maria, and we were set up by Aaron and Oscar. Oh, and here is one of our founders, Anyah Deshawn. Yay, Anyah. On March 1st, there's an event every month at the Baha'i Center in Austin, big poetry event. And the theme this time was Celtic Dreams, was that? And I'm trying to think, well, what do I have that's Celtic, since I was too lazy to write something new that was Celtic. I thought, well, I do have some thoughts. I was in an Irish play when I first came to Austin after I'd been away for a few years. And it was a play called The Well of the Saints by John Millington Synge. And I played Mary Doole, a blind woman. Her husband Martin had also been blind from birth. And it took place about 200 years ago. And the two of them were stripping reeds at the crossroads, sitting on rocks and talking to each other and to the passers-by from the village. Everyone got along very well. And I was there, and Rick Perkins, who was playing my husband Martin, was waiting for Timmy the Smith to come on. Well, Timmy the Smith forgot his cue.
Uh-oh.
And so Rick, as Martin, had to vamp for a while. You know, young Timmy, I remember him just the other day. He was coming over the hill, and I feel that he's probably on his way right now. He just kept going like this. It seemed like for an hour. It was several minutes. But it was a dramatic play. A saint comes to the village and gives them their sight.
Wow.
But instead of being overwhelmed and overjoyed, well, they are a bit at first, but then they look at the muck that they're living in. And they look at the faces of each other.
Yeah.
And he thought she was beautiful, and she thought he was handsome. And, you know, here are these old, gnarled people at the crossroads stripping reeds for baskets, you know. And they want their blindness back. And so the village is horrified at this. You would tell the saint to give you back your blindness when he created this miracle. You know, and they drove them out of the village. They threw rocks at them and drove them out. And it was a very uplifting thing. But then I realized that the musical I wrote some traditional folk songs that are in the Celtic tradition. And so I sang those at expressions at the Baha'i Center as well. Davy Carey took a wife as easy as you please, and by the pond he took her life and lay her 'neath the trees. Oh Davy, why'd you do this deed, your lovely bride to slay? and bring to end her 16 years upon her wedding day. The law will be upon you now, you'll hang for what you've done, your body twisting in the breeze and drying in the sun. I know not why I took her life, she was my treasury, but one so pure upon this earth was never meant to be. The father of Davy's bride, he found her where she lay. In sorrow he vowed to ride till Davy was at bay. Said he, she was my pride and joy, I warned her not to wed, nor take up with that carry boy, and now she's lying dead. The father ran our Davy down a clearing in the trees, a noose made he of the wedding gown, hang Davy in the breeze. So Davy Carey met his end, his hasty crime to pay. He wed and killed, was caught, and hanged all on his wedding day. And so Johanna and Darcy come from Texas to New York to be folk singers, and they love these tragic songs about unrequited love and you know, lovers who have died and committed these terrible crimes. That was what is known as a murder ballad. If you heard Johnny Cash's last recording or two, he went back to some of those old murder ballads. Yeah. Here's another one. It's not a murder ballad, but it's got a tragic feel to it. No more I'll see my own true love, nor will he pass again. No more, my bonny lad will tread upon the glen. Lies he beneath the heather now, nor will he pass again. No more, my bonny lad will tread upon the glen. Poison, take me to my own true love, nor will we pass again. No more shall I and my bonny lad tread upon the glen. Thank you. My voice kind of cracked a couple of times. I think somebody is smoking somewhere in the universe. So, Houston. Yes, Houston. And this last one, I thought, well, for a folk song, I need a working song, and it could have been a coal miner's song, but I settled on a whaling song. And the irony here is that these women who are singing these songs about catching the whale, you know, and carving up the whale and everything, a few years later would be singing songs to save the whale, you know, which I personally would love to save the whales, but where would I put them? But anyway, so here's my whaling song. Oh, never fear, my Maggie fair, be it ever so mighty a gale, I'll soon be returning to Greenland when we have caught the whale. The great fish will heave to our side and slice from nose to tail. We'll harvest ambergris and scrimshaw when we have caught the whale. Oh, never fear, my Maggie fair, be it ever so mighty a gale, I'll soon be returning to Greenland when we have caught the whale. When we did cast off from Liverpool, we soberly set sail to leave sweethearts and wives behind and to battle with the whale. Oh, never fear, my Maggie fair, be it ever so mighty a gale, I'll soon be returning to Greenland when we have caught the whale. When we have caught the whale. When we have caught the whale. Thank you. I think it's time for Thom. Anyah, are you ready? Or do you want to? Oh, Anya's ready.
Yay!
Anyah, Deshaun.
No, I like that. Okay, I appreciate it.
Anyway, I do the
to
best
turn it
that I
down
can.
earlier.
I'm sorry, what?
Maria asked us to turn it down earlier.
Oh, that's
we can hear it out here, but you can't necessarily hear it back here.
Thanks. So anyway, going with the Celtic Dream World, we will be having another feature May the 3rd on Saturday, the first Saturday at Expressions. And so I had to reschedule because I was ill and pretty good. So I'll attempt maybe one or two in Celtic here. And one of them's Jaga Lather, which is O King of Creation, which really it's literally translated king, but in all reverence, it's the Father, Mother, Creator. Jaga and Lather. And it's tied into a song that is a song about betrayal. And the Celtic language is Hagel Agamorst, Thagel Agamor, Hagel Agamorst. And it's where you are led to realizing the self-love through betrayal. And betrayal is one of the initiations of the human experience. Yeah. Which has to do with very deep emotions. It's probably one of the ones that makes you turn inside out more than any other of the little initiation paths that we take. So here goes this one. Ever had a lover who could always be your friend? Ever had a lover who would love you into the end? Well, I used to try and chase rainbows, their beauty beckoned me, never really knowing it wasn't reality. Or contemplate the petals lying on the ground, of use to no one now, their beauty turns to brown. They must have thought the rain would love them gently, as in the ray of the sun, or butterfly, or the rich black earth beneath them. But now they realize raindrops can't be trusted, not always, not in the way I trusted you. The rose in all its beauty, the rose in you and me,
that you came?
Yes.
Good health.
Well, as I said, we are few but mighty, but we are not exclusive, so anyone else out there who wants to come up and read poetry or sing a song, please feel free to do so. Sign up on our list right here. Okay, well now it's again time for Thom, the world poet, and Scott Vanya.
It's a love poem to South by Southwest. There once was a young punk band who toured all over the land. They did a showcase at South by Southwest and no one has heard of them since. This is a love poem to Kanye West and Jay-Z, who are featuring at South by Southwest on Wednesday. Oh baby, 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 baby. Be my baby, baby. Let me be your baby, baby. Cradle me in your sweet mother arms. Oh, mother lover with a baby inside her. Who the father? Who been messing without my blessing? My baby just a baby in this wild world. Next time that wild wind preacher show he devil face, I bring my full baby to him and say, hey devil man, what you been preaching to these children? They follow you, Jay-Z, like Pied Piper of Hamlin City. Hey, gold digger, Kanye West, like you sold him, man. You preach twerking over TV awards. You preach sexting and texting and tweeting and flirting. You take out babies from the nipple of their natural-born mothers and feed them milk of image selfies. They want cars and gold bling. Euros, fashion, fast and furious. Look what that did to Paul Walker, man. Leave our children out of this marketplace, or soon we'll have baby fashion parades. Jean Bennett look-alike celebrity infants, all loaded with a cell phone camera and no contraception. I'm looking at you, Kardashians. Thank you very much, thank you very much. Sacred guests and honoring. Welcome, strangers. Your journey as a pilgrim here tonight always begins with stars, ends with witness. Whenever new is born, old must seed, harvest trees, branches. Spring in Austin, all green and pleasant things. Child elders, wise outside years, indigo children, Montessori, Steiner, Summerhill, homeschooled, or thrown into private uniforms or public jails. Will still emerge as butterfly stockbrokers or whale accountants, dolphin lovers or circus presidents. Whether written in leather stars or spring waters or moors or wrapped in desert caves, the gospels of your own life are validated. Stamped by peers, witnessed by light, made to a musical and a movie tonight. Soundtracks available on iTunes, Spotify and SoundCloud. App that one, son. It's about Bitcoin. Anyone got a Bitcoin or a bit of a coin? I'm a bit bitter about Bitcoin. I don't know if you noticed, but they lost it. They lost a plane and then they lost a Bitcoin. What can you do with everyone's losing things? Every child of the digital age plays with monopoly money these days. Some graduate to virtual currencies, of which the most famous is Bitcoin, you see. Our currency markets fluctuate like emotions, but a Bitcoin value varies according to the trust each owner has in their merchant. At South by Southwest 2014, a Bitcoin vending machine will explore the value of variant values. At present, only a few boutique items can be purchased with this currency tonight, whose value may be $130 one day and $495 the next. The test is accessibility and transactional efficiency. As always, a physical coin is a metaphor for assumed value. Hence, barter continues along with black economies, as drugs and guns and shady business dealings need to occur without monitoring. Bitcoins are monitored. They can be hacked and accessed and counterfeited, making them a viable equivalent to our Federal Reserve non-gold-based economy. Tell me what makes a Bitcoin better? Who owns and controls and distributes? You, the people. It's always the economy, stupid. Boils down to a question of trust. Here's where I trust. Your music might just save your voice, your art might just save your dreams, your dream might just wake you up, embryo, emergent, electric, acoustic, astonishing, unique. Every page a bandage in the world's wounds, every splash both Icarus and Challenger. Polonius told you, learning is doing, apply your dreams this evening. Waking up to the rose with him, when evening moon swims in a purple sea, and boats by the ears float leaf-like upstream, and consciousness is Bitcoin shining effulgent, you enter a womb room of who you really might be. If only, when Zen, in the yes of applied circumstance, every blade of grass a volunteer, every boat dream a million passengers, Interconnected webs, thoughts, sensations, feelings and dreams, and only you, and this your only life tonight until the next boat dream comes along and sweeps you up and saves your only life again, and again, and again, and again. Because everybody got a sweet spot. Everybody got a holy place where they can relax and flow freely, seeing sand and waves and sun. Makes for moving meditations. There is always somewhere else, sings to us within our dreams. When we're there, we feel aligned with our deepest beamings. For some it'll be a holy mountaintop. Others are sacred desert stops, more by city bound, found. South Austin Paradise is Milton. Poem, Paradise, found. I love it, I love it, I love it. I got more. Now imagine, if you will, my friend wrote this poem about going down the ocean. Now I went down the ocean, there wasn't one. I had to write this poem. I said, what's happened to the ocean? And the ocean said to me, we've had it. Quite frankly, we're not going to take any more. We're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. So I said, ocean, forgive us. Do you think the ocean would listen? Ocean don't need poetry. Ocean's away. One day I walked down to the shore and I kept on walking. I was used to shallow waters. They sustained my conversation. But now our essential element was missing. Water had gone. Overnight. Evaporated. Or simply sucked into some primal vortex. All she left was stones, sand, rocks, glass bottles, cans, plastic detritus. I began to see how much of oceans were displaced by our occupation status. All those ships, weapons, torpedoes, sailors, cargoes, Titanics, Louise, Marie Celeste, yes, even ghost ships take up space. All statues, submarines, marbles, and amphorae, once strewn along the ocean's baseline, now exposed. History, scandals, guns, cars, bodies, flapping fish who did not get the memo. Mud and muck and mess dumped over centuries. Offal and waste and sewage and radioactive sludge. All our gifts we gave to waters once no longer hidden. Oh, mirror of mud. When winter goes, when water goes, are we next? I was coughing, I was stopping, I was allergic. I was allergic to myself. I wear a white face mask for allergens, dust particles, spores, mites and car exhausts and Austin pollution come from Houston. But still the signals get mashed and mixes in 2J DJs playing simultaneous. So I go back to 16th century, print poetry on broadsheets and read them freely at poetry reads. My friends are all Luddites except for him. And fear this industrial revolution poisoning skies with coal dust fogs and Chinese mess. If they ever invent cars, we're in a big truck of trouble. Cell phone cancer's on the rise. Tell me, what's a cell phone anyway? If all these toxins are inside, let us play with the idea that we are the cause of all our dilemmas and throw ourselves away. Disposable people, anybody? You like that idea? I mean, get a contract out. Yeah, I had a dream. And my dream was, I was on the moon. Go ahead. I was on the moon last night, holding a very precious book in my hands. I wasn't the only one. We were all surprised how much amount of oxygen that allowed us to breathe. The movement came bouncing like those old black and white moonshots before colour TV in that 3D movie Gravity. Buried in the dust, I saw a nuclear-tipped missile. We were careful not to talk about it. We walked around about very carefully. It's like we're all bouncing on some giant mattress. If this is a dream or a metaphor, I'll no longer put my nuclear clocks ahead one millennia just to get, in case I get another case of living in the future. Now, we have a friend who was here this morning. I was here with her this morning, called Patricia Fisk, and she says this to me, and I repeat this to you. Attitude is gratitude. Here we go. Every day she gives some thanks and praise to awaken another page of memoirs unwritten, adventures to be taken while still moving in her skin, stories to be shared among midnight children, thin silver line running through all currency of dreaming. You can bank upon memory. No program she, more an exposition adventure, 3D woman in Wonderland. Fascinated with learning more than earning, rich in accumulated circumstance. Art and dance, a living moving memorial of who we might be just among the slow motion daily tests of stones upon our wings. Gravity reverses when stories are shared. Levity when remembering enters the room again. Goodwill lubricates our arthritic joints into water talk and we sit around the water hole, listen to the clouds above, wait for sunshine, smiles, warmth and love. blessing each and every one on this quite precious day, Tuesday. It's a beautiful day.
Scott. Okay.
What's Thom?
Here's Scott Sam's guitar. Scott Vanya.
When you don't play for a while, your hands get sort of changed. Or you're copping out. It's hard to tell.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I wonder when it starts. At what step along the path? 14, 3, 18, 22, 43, 98. The one step in your journey. You take one step, and past that point, you begin to see that the stars are also behind your eyes as well as outside them. There's a certain fixation on the fact that in your own mind there's a light like those two, or the moon I saw earlier. There's a connection because inside it, the brilliant, beautiful moon, it's nice, cold, white, and gray rocks. What one of us has not felt a stone somewhere in ourself in a little corner, off in a nook or a cranny. And yet in it, there's a place that connects us to her and him and they and food and bananas.
Yeah, bananas.
Yet further out, you can see that the stars are really there, that there will be trips taken.
Yeah.
There will be journeys made.
Hey.
There will be new faces, new guests, new looks, new poems to be said. And they too will strike a chord with that which harmonizes within us.
Nice, nice. Very good, very good. It is just about straight up 8 o'clock.
Well, we're doing good.
We're doing very well. And we have another member, fresh blood.
Fresh blood.
Fresh blood. Are you ready now, or you want to wait a turn?
Oh, I'm not ready yet.
You're not ready yet. Okay, then I will do mine. It's also the half hour. Welcome to Maria's Taco Express, Awesmic City Poetry and Music.
Yes.
1 moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, this whole set is from a play I wrote called Among Amazons.
Uh-huh.
It takes place on the streets of San Francisco in about 1977. The disco era, but I always like to say more Looking for Mr. Goodbar than Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah. No GBs.
Yes. But before disco became really commercial, very falsetto-y, you know. So, San Francisco. San Francisco, alien city. Your winds blow warm and cold like the faces of your people.
Yeah.
My passions rise and settle with the drift of your mist. You have welcomed me wholly only to snub me in your streets. I exist through your benevolence, yet your winds deny my being. I am both one with your spirit and nothing to your numb heart. I will win you, be assured. You will love me yet. I've learned your fickle moods, they cannot faze me now. I turn my face to your changing gusts and bear the wind and the rain.
Yeah.
They cannot erode my new flowered self. They cannot erase my naked soul. I pour and I flow with your elements, now that I know I'm whole.
Yeah, more.
This is the title poem from Among Amazons. An innocent among Amazons, writing poetry in the dark. I strain my assaulted eyes and mind to place myself in a world, any world. I wonder at that, but I know why I bloom on the wall and construct my own hell. Thank you.
Yeah, more.
More.
Yeah, more.
Okay. Well, the character Laura Sabanel is in a bar in San Francisco, a place she feels like she doesn't really belong, but in the 70s, everyone was supposed to go to bars to meet people. It was the law, along with cocaine and backgammon.
Whoa.
I never did the cocaine, but I did do backgammon.
You did this. Back to the game.
What's this next one called? Oh yes, it has a title of the year. Let's see it here. Okay. I almost have it memorized, but I can't. Oh, I know. Wrong. It's in a different place. And no, it isn't. That's okay. We'll go on to the big one.
Okay.
Are you agreeing?
Yes, I'm agreeing.
You're so agreeable.
Have to be.
As I said, the streets of San Francisco are almost another character in the play. And in this one especially, when Laura's walking down the street, meeting all the strange people and feeling like they're all looking at her. Ellis Street Suite. A little girl, just under 6 feet, shuffles swiftly between painted towers, stalking down Ellis Street. How much less bogus are you than they? Does your wry smile betray a lingering insecurity? Shy little girl pushing 30. Who could imagine even you could be a total virgin? Yet here you go through Proposition Alley and down Queens Row. This is the crucible in the bowels of the Tenderloin. Here there are few smiles but many sneers. Here expressions are jaded, faded, and blank, but for sly, dissecting eyes. Here you must survive the glares. Here you must pass. You cannot escape the scrutiny of the derelict hustler, merchant, addict, prostitute, tourist, closet queen, waitress, monster of countless eyes and absent heart. You're so together today, little fox. You shine so you flash the sun back on himself. And your beautiful soul eclipses your petty flaws. This afternoon, you hear only, "Hey, pretty lady, girl, you got fine legs. Where you going, mama?" You pass sternly by and then smile to yourself. Don't lie. You know you do, little fox. The street echoes a Dylan refrain. The street moans of desolation. The street screams of each new ripoff. The street is the world, the environment, the home, the shelter, the cave, the cage. Shy little girl, just under 6 feet. You can be hometown sweetheart if you make it on Ellis Street.
Yeah, more.
And one more from this selection. I recently incorporated this short poem in a larger poem, and I'm just going to read the shorter version of it here. As I said, this last weekend I went to Houston to the funeral of my Aunt Dot. And, as I get older, I keep thinking, how long will I make it? Longer. And if I do, who will notice my passing?
I will.
And I know Thom will, and I know Scott will. Where's Scott? And I know Smokey will.
Scott's sitting on his car over there.
Okay, it's Scott. remember me. Forget me not, know that I've been, recall me, I'll be once again. Just recollect and I'll always be. Remember me, remember me, remember me.
I do.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, thank you. And are you ready, Mr. Smokeman? And now the wonderful country music and harmonica stylings of Smokey, the legendary Smokey.
Legendary Smokey, yeah.
Howdy.
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 Easy.
That's an old country hymn called Farther Along. He has the medley of some old country hymns and spirituals. How much time I have, Louise?
Oh, could you do one more, and then you might have time to do one more before we close. I'll do a couple more before we close.
Fills with gladness when I hear the trill of the birds in the treetops on Mockingbird Hill. Tra-la-la, twiddly-dee, it gives me a thrill to wake up in the morning to the mockingbird's trill. Tra-la-la, twiddly-dee, there's peace and goodwill. You're welcome as the flowers on Mockingbird Hill. Evening, I climb up the hill and survey all the realm of the Mockingbird Hill. Only in the sky, an old whippoorwill sings songs in the twilight on Mockingbird Hill. Tra-la-la, twiddly-dee, it gives me a thrill to wake up in the morning to the mockingbird's trill. Tra-la-la, there's peace and goodwill. You're welcome as the flowers on Mockingbird Hill. It gives me a thrill to wake up in the morning to the mockingbird's trill. Thank you. That's how Mockingbird Hill was first recorded in 1949 by Mary Ford with Les Paul.
Right. And didn't Patty Page have it
Patty
years
Page
later?
covered that song repaying the favor because Mary Ford had just covered her song, The Tennessee Waltz.
Oh, right. Another beautiful song. I was about 4 or 5 years old when Patti Page's version came out.
Wow.
And that's one of the songs I would go around singing all the time. We love Tweedledee, it gives me a thrill to wake up in the morning to the mockingbird trill. I love Tweedledee, peace and goodwill to wake up in the morning on Mockingbird Hill. And also one of my favorites was Shrimp boats is a-comin', the sails are inside. Shrimp boats is a-comin', they're sailing tonight. Why don't you hurry, hurry, hurry home? Why don't you hurry, 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 hurry home? Shrimp boats is a-comin', they're sailing tonight. It was all about the same time. And earlier in that medley, Smokey played an old hymn that was one of the ones that we sang at my aunt's funeral.
Oh, wow.
Which one was that?
And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Yeah, that was great. Well, I think we have about 20 more minutes. I'd like to get everybody in one more time.
That song's called In the Garden.
In the garden, that's right. I walk in the garden alone. Da, 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 da. Okay. Yeah, that's one I remember from when I went to church all the time. Many, many moons ago.
God bless you.
So what I'd like to do is I'm going to skip my turn. And maybe we could go to a brief one with Thom and Scott, and then Smokey one more time, and then if well, I'll always cap it off at the end.
And I'll do
And Thom will sum it up at the end. And if everyone would just wait, and we'll take a picture when we're finished here. I would have done that earlier, but there was only 3 of us here. Okay, so again, Thom the World Poet and Scott Anyah.
So what happened was Saturday night we started a sing-along of Pete Seeger, and it was really successful at the Full English tea rooms, and we decided then, okay, let's do a sing-along every Saturday night. So this one's dedicated to Pete Seeger. Pete Seeger, he listened to slave songs, he listened to African chants, he listened to folk songs, then he picked up his banjo and asked every ear for a tongue, every eye for an ear, every poem for a song, every song for a chorus. So we were all singing in the ancient way, chant and response, call to chorus, shout to shout back. What a blessing for our voices, jazz. What a golden harvest and a folk tradition. Stealing slave songs and passing them on, like Juneteenth's secret of emancipation. I hear you calling and you can't come in. I hear you calling and you can come in.
Once more, Scott Anyah.
So magic starts right here. It starts 2 seconds from now. It starts 10 minutes from now. It starts where we left off half an hour ago, and it just keeps going. It keeps going because you give it away to your friends, to your neighbors, to your cashiers, to your grocery clerks, to your butchers. The magic keeps going not because you have it in your hand, but because you give it into somebody else's. The magic keeps going because that person then gives it to somebody else. The sound of a certain refrain, the hum of a few bars of a song, the feeling that you belong with your friends and your loved ones, and the ones you have yet to make friends and loved ones. Thank you. Peace.
And it's been a real treat tonight to have Smokey here. I hope maybe you'll come earlier next time we do this. Right. Full English you're talking about? Okay. I won't be here then, but I'm sure they'd be happy to have you. Once again, the great Smokey.
Yay, Smokey.
Thank you so much, Louise.
You're welcome.
Since the last time that I've played music for y'all, I've learned a lot more about music. For instance, I now know the difference between a fiddle and a guitar.
Ah.
Yeah.
Guitars burn longer.
Oh.
Bad boy.
This is an old song by Cindy Walker.
Yeah.
I believe this song is from 1948 or thereabouts. It's called Bluebonnet Lane, which is not very far down the street from here.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same Bluebonnet Lane they wrote the song about. In my lonely heart there lingers a dream that haunts me again, of a girl with eyes like the flowers that grew down in Bluebonnet Lane. I can see a pale moon rising above a blue misty plain, and I dance with my blue-eyed darling in my memories again. Oh, those sweet, happy hours in my heart, they will always remain, like the sweet fragrance of the flowers that grew down in Bluebonnet Lane. Thank you, Louise. And thank you all. Have a happy South by So What?
Okay, well.
And now to sum things up,
Yeah.
Thom, the world poet.
It's got. Come on. Yeah.
Genuine, original South Australian, yeah. So we were here this morning having breakfast, talking about tonight and how the poetry behind it. Maria says, "Are you here tonight? Is it South by Southwest?" I said, "No, nothing to do with South by Southwest. this is your weekly poetry, except for first Tuesday, which is, of course, bingo. I said, oh, okay. Now, the beautiful thing is, one by one, oftentimes people often say, well, just can't do it because it's so few, but no, you've got to start with one. Everyone's up at the big circus, the Coliseum. We're here in the small little ant circus, amusing each other with poetry, music, harmonica, drama, camera. The beautiful thing is, right here, right now, it will never happen again. Happily, we can't repeat it if we tried. So thank you all for being. Thank you for beaming. Now we take the photograph, I guess, just to prove we're actually here.
Right after I wrap things up, the audience too is invited to come up and have their picture taken with us if they like.